story starts just as a little girl in foster care. And it's something she details in her memoir, Frightened, Scared, and Alone No More. What a pleasure it is to have with us today, Terica Lynn Smith. Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Portia, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, sis.
Yes.
A lot of women are going to be empowered by your story and so many of the lessons that you shared in your book. And I love that you started with Frightened, Scared, and Alone, but the bottom line is no more.
No more. Yes.
Why?
Because I had to find out who that little girl was, and I had to stop being the victim. Although I went through a lot in my life, I had a lot of trauma. Finding who Terica Lynn Smith was allowed me to say, I know who I am, and I'm not going to live by this trauma anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer frightened. I'm no longer scared to be who I am. I'm unapologetic about who I am. And I know that my story, although I had to get through it, like I had to be able to get through it to tell it, I know that it's a testimony, and it's going to help someone else who may be going through exactly what I went through, but don't know their identity yet. They don't know the power behind their name. And so it's just no more of it.
Can we, and that said, I appreciate your willingness to unpack some of the terrible things that you survived, not went through, survived, because you are truly a warrior. You were sold to a drug dealer.
Yes, my mother's drug dealer.
Obviously, Mom was clearly going through some things.
Absolutely.
Right? What do you know about why that happened?
Yeah. So what I'll share is this. Whenever it happened, I was already at home with no power, no water, anything like that. And so being a child of an addict, you never know which parent is going to come through the door. Meaning, is it happy mom? Is it sad mom? Is it anxious mom? And so I knew whenever she made it back home, she was already like fiending for like a fix. And honestly, I had no clue what was going to take place, but I do know that I had just got in trouble by her. And so when I heard her call my name and she needed me to come see something, and I heard her arguing with someone about her owing them money, I did not know what was going to take place, but I did know when I walked into the room, she needed me to be a big girl, is what she said. I need you to be a big girl. And I didn't know what a big girl meant.
Of course not.
But I do know when she told me to grab his hand and go with him, that I was either not going to be living with her no more, or she didn't want me no more. Like I thought she was giving me away. But yeah, went in the bathroom and I lost my innocence at 5 years old. I almost died.
So, I'm sorry. I know everybody needs a minute just to take that in. But the 5-year-old who had to go through that, I thank her for surviving that experience. Did that man take you away permanently or left you back with your mother?
No, he left me on the bathroom floor.
What happened afterwards?
My mother was high. She told me to get up. That's it.
Okay. You end up in foster care after that experience.
Yeah, shortly afterwards, my biological father, his mother, and him came and got me and my siblings from the house after being left in there with, again, no food, no water, no power. And we went to go stay with my grandma for a very short period of time. She passed away, and that's when I ended up in foster care.
How many siblings did you have as we look at this into the eyes of a little girl who already gone through so much?
Yes. It was 5 of us. But the truth is, we never really grew up all together. We all were separated. Majority of us was in different foster homes throughout the state. Nobody wanted to take, all the children together. And so...
Were you ever adopted or you aged out of foster care?
They emancipated me. At the age of 16, I was considered a legal adult.
So what does a 16-year-old who has gone through all of this, I imagine there were other trials and trauma that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So by the time I turned 16 years old, I ended up going to travel in the magazine business, going from state to state, selling magazines door to door. At 16, I lied and told him I was 17 because you had to be 17 to be able to do it. And I just ended up on the road, traveling from state to state, and I ended up getting pregnant with my son as a teenage mom. And so I tried to get off the road, and I didn't have no family. I grew up in foster care. So, and by
This is you as a baby, essentially. Look at this baby face with this beautiful baby boy.
Yes.
So are you taking care of him at this point alone?
Yes.
How? Terica,
we was homeless up under the Claiborne Bridge in New Orleans. And he's the promise.
He's the promise, meaning he's why you figured out everything else you had to figure out.
Absolutely.
How long were you under the bridge?
A few days. They had what was called the newspaper called the Quick Quarter. And in there they had like ads for rent and things like that. And I ended up calling I had a few cents left. This was when payphones were popular. People don't even know what payphones are now, right? And so I just ended up calling the ad in the paper, and when I spoke to him, I said, hey, I don't have any money. You know, I'm 17 years old. I'm under this bridge, and I'm just trying to find a home for my son. I said, I get a few $100s a month in food stamps, and I'll give you my entire food stamp card if you give me a place to stay. And he told me to come check out the apartment and take a look at it. And so me and my son, we walked, to the apartment, and he said, I'm not going to take your food stamps. I'm going to give you a place to stay.
Sounds like another promise, another one of God's many provisions in your life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That takes you and puts you into a different mind frame, and where you get to learn some really valuable lessons. Almost the first lessons in real estate come in that space, right?
Yeah.
We're going to pause right here and take a break, but afterwards, you're never going to guess how many times it took Terica to pass a real estate exam once she learned all of these wonderful lessons from the man who let her stay in this place. It's a powerful story that continues right after the break. I want to thank you for coming back to the table today. It's a powerful conversation about resilience and building a business brick by brick. Our guest today is real estate investor and developer Terica Lynn Smith. Terica, before the break, we were talking about what happened, sort of the light at the end of the tunnel. The next chapter for you was being able to find a place where you could rent. The man did not take your food stamps. He said, come. It was a safe space.
Yes.
You learned some lessons, though, from him about real estate. Explain.
Yeah, so I didn't really understand what a landlord was, but I do know that people needed a place to stay, and seeing that he had so many properties, it was mind-boggling, and it was an eye-opener.
Yeah.
And traveling on the road at that point in time, selling magazines during my period, I knew a little about what real estate was. And so him offering me a place to stay and allowing me to stay there, but also seeing him in his element with all of the different properties, and each and every last one of us was essentially a check, right?
Yeah,
it was really mind-boggling to see something like that.
Right.
I wasn't exposed to
And
that.
so at that point, because you're not in school at this point?
No, I went back to school and graduated, but no, I was not in school at this point.
Right. So you're working. You're a teenage mom trying to provide for a baby.
Yes.
So at what point did you take some of the mind-boggling, oh my gosh, this is a source of income, and turn that into something that it changed your life?
Right. After Hurricane Katrina. So Katrina, we were trapped in the city for, ever felt like, right? I thought it was the end of the world. And at this point in time, in all transparency, I had 2 kids. by the same guy that I met on the road selling magazines. And so after being trapped in the city by Hurricane Katrina, I just was like, I don't want to have to wait on the government to come save us again. People were dying. No one was coming to help us. We was trapped in a city that was being flooded with water.
Yeah, we remember those.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. And so I just knew that I did not want to be like this again. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I can't tell you real estate was going to be the answer for everything. It was the only thing I've seen that other people had that looked at very successful and made me say, hey, maybe I should look at doing this.
So you lock in and go into real estate, but it took a few attempts to get through this test.
Yes.
But I think that there's a lesson to be learned there, right? How many times did it take you to pass the real estate? 7. So
7 times.
By the 5th and 6th time, are you like, this? How am I going to do this? Or what am I doing differently? For the folks who are watching who like, it's taken me a long time to figure it out too. What do you say?
Yeah, I said it's passable. There's no way that I can't pass this, and everybody else is passing it, you know?
Yeah.
And I was the dumbest one in the classroom, to be honest. I didn't know what a lien was, a mortgage, or encumbrance, encroachment. And so this is a foreign language. But and on top of that, the test was not free. Like, I had to pay $100. That was a fortune to somebody who don't have that. And so, no, I didn't want to give up on it. I was too invested. After $500, I'm all the way invested.
Right, we figured this out.
That's right.
And eventually you did. This is you in front of your first
investment property.
Wow.
Yes, this is.
Were you still renting at this point?
No, actually, I had me and my husband. I ended up getting married, but me and my husband, we had another primary residence, but this was our first investment property.
Gotcha.
We bought this for $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Totally different, a bunch of lessons we learned there. Here you are now, though, right? This is the space where you are now, right? Closing on properties, whole subdivisions, beautiful family. It took a long time to get to this space. Could you ever imagine the little girl who survived so much would get to enjoy these kind of blessings?
God, no. I remember 12 years old, I used to pray for God to give me a family, you know, as a kid. And, you know, as an adult, like, I look at it and it's full circle. Like, I've been married going on 22 years, have 4 amazing children.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. My daughter is in real estate. You know, I'm just, no, this is all God. This is a God did it story.
Yeah. And God did something else that is just absolutely beautiful in your life. You've actually built a subdivision not far from your hometown in Louisiana, right?
Yes.
And all the street names, well, many of the street names bear the names of your children.
That's right.
What was that like?
That's the same boy that was in the picture earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the promise right there. And so looking at, you know, me and him looking at his name on a street sign, I just need him to know that if I can come from where I come from and go through the hell that I went through and be the woman I am today, there's nothing you can't do, son. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. Don't let nobody tell you you're not enough. And I said, I don't want my children to ever have to knock at nobody's door. So they don't have to.
Yeah, they own the doors, the houses, the land, the property.
Right.
How did you decide what a subdivision was going to look like?
Yes.
How many units are there right now?
Yeah, so this community, we're looking at 200 rooftops going inside of this community. And how I decided was I was having lunch one day with a realtor, and she was like, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to name my new subdivision. And I said, what do you mean? She was like, oh, I developed subdivisions and I put my children names on it, and now I did my wine collection, so I'm I got to think of what's next. And I'm like, now she's out of names in her family that is alive right now that she's saying she's going to use her wine collection to start naming the street signs.
And that inspired you to think even bigger, right?
Yes.
I just want to, before we run out of time, we keep seeing this acronym SALT. That's for
Sheldon, Ataya, Layla, and Tyreek. This stands for my children's name.
That's beautiful. And when you build these homes, are you thinking of the single moms who were once in your situation, or who may be in the situation you used to be in?
I think of everybody who have a war cry. I think of everybody who has that story, that wound, that whatever it may be. I think that this is them saying, hey, our war cry can be heard.
Yeah.
This is me using my war cry.
It is your war cry, sis,
Yes.
in a powerful way.